This is Vegeta8259, and this is part 2 of the Perfect Grade RX-78-2 Gundam review. And just like in my previous Perfect Grade review, we'll be going over the inner frame first. And I think in this video I think I'm going to go over articulation twice for this model kit, just because I want you to see all the pistons and fancy things that go on in the inner frame that you can't see with all the armor attached. But before we get into that, I just want you to have a look at all the incredible inner detail on the inner frame of this model kit. And for those of you who watched my Perfect Grade 00 Riser review, you may remember that I wasn't too thrilled with the inner detail on that kit. But this one is just loaded with inner detail. Very, very nice. You've got all sorts of little mechanisms and moving parts everywhere, and it actually feels like a robot. It actually feels and looks like an inner frame should feel, I think. And another thing that I didn't mention in my 00 Riser review that I missed out on in that kit were chrome pistons. There were no chrome pistons in Perfect Grade 00 Riser, and they're in pretty much every other Master Grade except it. Master Grade, Perfect Grade, I mean. So anyway, let's go ahead and do articulation, and I'll divide it in half and just show you all of the nice things that go on when you move this kit around. Alright, there's a double ball joint for the head. So there's a ball joint up at the neck that lets go up and down, side to side, and rotate 360. There's another ball joint down here at the torso that has the same movements, but just adds to it. Actually, I don't think the ball joint at the bottom can go 360, but that doesn't matter because the top one can. Also, on the head, you'll notice clear parts for the eyes. And you'll also notice for the Vulcans on the forehead, you even have the little gun barrels right here on the inner frame. I thought that was a very, very nice touch. And back here on the back of the head, let me get my screwdriver, we've got the battery pack for the LEDs and the lights, and it just comes out like so. For the backpack, is actually very nicely detailed. It's got a little bit of articulation as well. The ports where the beam sabers go in are on ball joints, so they can go up and down and back and forth a little bit. You've got these little flaps right here that can go up and down, and the thrusters are double jointed. They can go up and down, and then there's ball joints as well, so they can rotate and wiggle. And also there's a little arm on the backpack right here, but that's really more for separating the armor off of the backpack, which we'll get to later. There's a very nice joint inside the torso for moving the shoulders. The shoulders move back and forth like so. Not as much as newer kits, but then again, this kit was made in 1998, so you have to give Bandai credit for trying. But what I wanted to point out is down inside, you've got this little metal grating on the outside, and when you move the shoulder, you can actually see the joint inside the torso moving around. And I thought that was a very, very nice touch, including chrome pistons down in there. The chest vents can move up and down slightly. They're a little bit harder to move than on other kits that have moving chest vents. The arms, of course, can rotate 360, and they can come out about that far. And again, there are 4 small pistons on each shoulder that move according with the arm. Let's see if I can get these to... They don't move a lot, but you'll see these pistons just kind of slowly flex in and out whenever you move the shoulder. And they can move back and forth, and up and down slightly. So rotation below the shoulder, and now we get to the elbow, which has some really nice movement in it. I think there's 3 points of articulation in the elbow that all contribute to the full 180-degree bend. So you've got a bend here, which exposes a chrome piston, a bend here, which exposes another one, and then the whole thing bends again to go the full 180-degree bend. So I just thought that was a very nice elbow joint. Let's see, you've got a little thruster right here that comes out, but we'll go over that when we do the opening armor panels. You've got pretty much standard perfect grade hands. It's got a double ball joint for the wrist so it can rotate and wiggle, and each finger is on a ball joint, and each joint in the fingers are movable. Alright, that about does it for the upper half. Bottom half, I've just got the core block in here right now, which is basically just a mechanical replacement for the core fighter. And you do get a core fighter, which you'll see later, but I just thought that this looked better in the bare inner frame than the core fighter, because core fighter's just red, white, and blue and really pops out too much, I think. See, this little red thingy on the crotch piece can move in and out. I think they only used it in like one episode of Mobile Suit Gundam where he released some sort of gas from his crotch to enter the atmosphere. So think what you will about that. The hips are on a peg joint. Oh, I forgot to mention, there is rotation at the waist. It won't go 360, but there is rotation. Anyway, the hips can go out about 90 degrees. They can go back about 90 degrees. And then they can go out of the body not quite 90 degrees. But you'll notice that there's the same pistons down here that move around slightly that there were on the shoulder joints. There is rotation below the hip joint. And again, just like the elbow joint, the knee joints are very nice. It's only got 2 points of articulation rather than 3, but it does the full 180-degree bend and has some very nice chrome pistons to show off. So that's always appreciated. And they slide very nicely and very smoothly. Anyway, I'm not sure if any other perfect grades have it, but this is the only model kit that I know of that has shocks. There's a spring inside the lower leg here, so when you press the foot down on the surface, see how the lower leg collapses? And then it just springs back up. So this Gundam has actually got shocks inside its legs. I thought that was really a nice feature. Not really functional for anything on 1/60th scale, but it was just nice to include it. Anyway, the ankle has a joint where it can point down and expose pistons on the front. You can go forward and expose pistons on the back. So you've got a very nice little piston rocking action right there. There's a double joint for the ankle. It's got a peg that lets it rotate. It won't go 360 because, see, these ankle armors will pop off. But it does rotate to pretty much anywhere you would need a foot to rotate to, because I can't remember any instances where the Gundam's feet rotate 360 in the anime. Anyway, they can also go side to side and up and down slightly. And the foot has 2 joints in it. There's a joint at the end that goes out, and there's a joint at the heel that goes out as well. And you'll notice, yep, another piston down inside the foot that goes in and out when you bend the foot. And you've got some nice thrusters on the bottom of the foot there. So, all in all, I really like, despite it having somewhat limited posability and being the first perfect grade, you kind of want to cut Bandai a little bit of slack, at least I do. But I definitely have to give them a thumbs up for effort, because this is really, really nice, I think. And plus, it's RX-78, so it's one of my favorite mobile suits, but maybe I'm just being biased because I like the mobile suit so much. But anyway, that does it for articulation. So make sure to come back for part 3, and I think we'll be able to see this guy with all of his armor panels attached.